Good evening. Today, I would like to discuss a little bit about what are known as demon bowls, sometimes known as demon traps, at other times known as incantation bowls. They're actually likely all of these things. They were used for protective magic to trap demons before they entered a house. There are a few bowls that wish to trap demons for nefarious purposes, but these are very rare. As the name suggests, incantation bowl, these bowls were inscribed so that a lot of the information coming from these bowls is from the linguistic standpoint. However, there really isn't any information shocking or disturbing to anyone in the modern world. There's nothing, for instance, like an exorcism involved in these bowls. Here is a good example. It's about the size of a cereal bowl. It's wheel made, and there's nothing special about the bowl at all. However, the bowl has in ink an inscription or series of inscriptions in a spiral leading to a main figure of the demon. And in this case, the demon looks something like a child would scrawl. The question would be, is this because they were simply indicating a demon here? Or did they actually not want to depict a demon in realistic form? In any case, the inscription, which in this case has been untranslated, would give all the information you need to know about the person being afflicted as well as the demon. In this case, the demon figure has a helmet-like head, very large eyes, schematic arms, a very simple body, what looks almost like a skirt, and what you could say would be bird legs. The demon here doesn't look particularly frightening. In fact, it looks powerless. And the bird legs could indicate something about the demon. Many of the demons depicted on the bowls are female. Lilith, by name, also known as Astarte or Ishtar. This deity was a deity known from the Mesopotamian pantheon as the Queen of Heaven. However, the religion of the previous culture usually turns out badly in the present culture. In the present culture, that being the successor to the Mesopotamian empires, the Jews, the Mandaeans, and even the Arabs, the Queen of Heaven is regarded as a demon who brings pain in childbirth and also kills children. It's very important to keep this demon away from the house. These bowls give an incredible amount of information about what people believed in the 6th to 8th century AD. This was a very formative time for both Judaism and Christianity, as well as Islam. Many doctrines were being formalized at this time. And these bowls offer a unique glimpse into how everyday religion functioned at this time. It's also significant that Rabbinic Judaism was beginning to codify. The Mishnah was written at this time, and there are references in these bowls to the Mishnah as well as to the Hebrew Bible. This demon was published by Erica Hunter and is a good example of the kind of demons that appear on other bowls. As you can see, unkept hair, a headband here, clear eyes, nose, mouth, hands are very crudely delineated, but every finger is clear here. These spots likely represent a leopard, as Ishtar, the queen of heaven, is associated with leopards because of their fearsome nature. And the feet are splayed outwards in a rather harmless way, not so that the demon is chasing after you, but in a relatively harmless position. What's very important here is that this figure wears something like a collar or a halter that would prevent the demon perhaps from speaking. Other bowls have demons that are bound either at the hands or the feet. If I can read what is associated with this figure, although this particular example was fragmentary from other bowls, we understand that the shield here for the inscription, "This is the voice of the weak that are broken and of men who fight and go into battle. Also the voice of raging women who curse, afflict, bewitch, and pain this body." The voice in this case is not human. The voice is of the demon that is being controlled here with the collar. Many of these texts adopt the form of a divorce. A petitioner or a demander demands that the demon leave, that the demon no longer afflict the individual. Many of these texts are very carefully written. The letter forms are very clear. The text has allusions to the Mishnah, other rabbinic texts, even the Hebrew Bible. It's likely these were professional scribes who also today would be considered magicians, although likely at the time they would have considered themselves well within the norm of their religion. They were simply producing what the bowl would describe itself as an amulet. That would mean an amulet for protection against these creatures. Sadly, many of these bowls have appeared on the antiquities market without any kind of information as to where they were found. But it is known that these bowls only occur in Iraq and Iran. There are many examples of these bowls that are not in good condition. The reason is, even though this is a very dry area, these bowls were simply placed in front of the house or in the house upside down so that the water would flow over the bowl, but obviously if there was too much water, the ink writing inside would be washed away. A good example of a site that had these bowls in abundance is the Jewish community in Nippur, where just about every house is associated with a bowl. That was usually in front of the doorway, but they could also be bowls in the house, particularly in the corners of rooms. The corner of a room would be where the floor would join the ceiling, and there would be usually a gap or separation where a demon could crawl in and threaten the occupants of the house. There were other bowls that were associated with cemeteries, which for obvious reasons, this would be a very active region where the human dead could be assailed by demons. Hopefully, with more study of the language and also the context of these bowls, much more can be learned about the everyday religion of these people, and much more can be learned about the interactions between the early Jewish communities, the early Christian communities, the Mandaean communities, and the Muslim communities in the 6th to 8th centuries AD in this area. Thank you very much.